So a couple things. So 13 Colonies out of Georgia. Okay, they're an NDP, so they're non-distilling producer. Even though they technically have a still, and they do distill some products off of it. It's just not bourbon or rye.
Okay.
Okay. So
what is it then? What do they distill?
I don't know. They're very, very secretive. But let me go back. So 13th Colony came out a few years ago. They've been in business for a little bit. They sort of got in trouble.
I remember there was a couple Facebook posts about
Sort of got in trouble about 2 years ago, almost Christmas time. So I'm guessing 2022.
It'd be 2023.
2023, somewhere around there. So they came out with a double oaked cask strength bourbon, which hit all the whiskey reviewers. They all, for the most part, went ape shit crazy over it.
They started doing backflips.
Best fucking whiskey they've ever drank in their life, kind of thing. It came across Fred Minnick's desk for his Ascot Awards.
And who's Fred Minnick?
Fred Minnick is he's like the OG whiskey reviewer.
Is he kind of like if you get a Michelin star on your restaurant, you're a big deal?
Yeah, kind of.
If you get recommended from this gentleman, you're a big shot?
Kind of, yeah. So Fred started out years and years ago writing articles for whiskey magazines. This is before the internet came out. Right. So when for whiskey, and I wasn't drinking whiskey really at that time, so I didn't care. But you had whiskey magazines, and Fred would write articles for him. So he's been in this game a lot longer than most of us have been. So anyway,
he's the elder statesman.
Yeah, even though I don't think he's that much older than me, which is kind of scary. But so it came across his tasting panel's desk, and they had some issues with the offerings that they were given. Like when you would kind of swirl the glass, and you'd look at the legs and stuff. First of all, it was super, super dark. And then it looked like it almost had some coloring to it, right?
Like what you'd expect when you're drinking rum?
Yeah, and in the bourbon world, you can't add coloring, you can't add flavoring, you can't add anything to it other than water to cut it to the proof you want.
However, if it's whiskey, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but they said it's bourbon.
They said it's bourbon?
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Double oak bourbon. So anyway, and then there was another guy that I'm a big fan of. His it's not really a channel, but his website's called Bourbon Culture.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's super smart. He'll do all the nerd work that I won't do.
He's got some really kooky tasting notes in his reviews.
Yeah, he's really good at his tasting notes, which even go over my head. But anyway, he did a bunch of homework into it. So the point being is they caught a bunch of backlash.
Was any of it true?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because they never really got into the double oak stuff. But if you look at even this old bottle of just regular bourbon,
I remember that.
It says produced and bottled by 13th Colony. Well, produced means nothing. And technically for the TTB, right, you have to put state of distillation. So they had been skirting around how they get their whiskey, how they get their bourbon for years.
And the question becomes why.
So I think they were trying to sell like they were responsible for. So even the rye, produced and bottled.
Because where? They're from Georgia?
From Georgia. Now, it doesn't mean you can't make whiskey in Georgia. It just, you might have just like the JT Mellick that we did. You might have some different...
Or like Texas whiskey.
Or like Texas whiskey. You might have some different parameters that you got to figure out. Anyway, long story short, as of last year, the new release of the standard bourbon says distilled in Indiana.
Okay.
So I think they caught enough grief that...
Maybe the TTB finally woke up from their perpetual
Maybe,
trauma.
or you get a bunch of whiskey nerds that want to buy your stuff that, now they're like, well, we're not going to buy your shit because you're not being honest.
You're not being forthright.
And here's the thing. I don't care. Most people don't care. If you source whiskey. Just be honest with where you get it from.
Yeah.
Right? Just give them...
Because if you're obfuscating it, it's like, well, what, are you not happy with your product?
Right. Just give whoever distilled it, you don't even have to say the distillery. Just give the state credit. And here's the problem with 13th Colony. It's not even a problem, actually. And we're here to talk about the cash strength version that's been hit in Texas recently. But here's the thing with 13th Colony is they've always said that their rick houses where they're at in Georgia is a special place. Their blending skills with all the above makes 13th Colony what it is.
Sure.
Right? Their heat, their humidity, all that. And I'm 100% for that. And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because Smoke Wagon tastes very different because you have to blend it in Las Vegas.
Correct. And it sits in Aaron's rick houses in Las Vegas.
115 degrees there right now.
Yep. And it's typically dry as shit.
Not typically, it is.
Yeah, but in the summertime, they get the monsoon, so they do kick the humidity up.
You get humidity. You get like 2% humidity.
Right. So this stuff is, I think, and not to talk shit because they do more than I do, right? So full disclosure, they're much better at this than I am. However, I think they learned their lesson. They source from, as far as I can tell, they're sourcing from MGP in Indiana. But what's cool is that they're getting the barrels to their rick house in Georgia, and then they're letting them sit, right? And so they're letting them age in Georgia for X amount of time. And then as they taste through the barrels, and they get dumped and blended, right? And then they wind up in your bottle. So for the longest time in Texas, you just had these two, just standard bourbon, and then their rye. And now the rye is a finished rye. So they take their rye, put it back into different barrels, let it age for however long they want to let it age. And the rye was my favorite. I did start seeing stuff pop up on Instagram about 2 weeks ago, where at a lot of specs in North Texas, and specs is just like your California, your Bevmo, or your Total Wine or whatever. That's our big store out here. But I started to see,
affectionately referred to as spooks.
Yeah. So I started to see Instagram things popping off about that. You luckily you were nice enough to go out a couple weeks ago when I wasn't feeling good, and you found one. And so I thought we would talk about it, and
they had a lot of these at the Spooks.
That's good, because for the longest time, yeah, look at that. What's it say on there now?
Distilled in Indiana, aged and bottled by 13th.
Correct.
Hey, that's way better than the old label where it's just produced and bottled.
Correct.
Aged and bottled is way better.
Now look at the proof on that bad boy, because
that is
cash
120.65.
Yep.
It's pretty hot.
Yep. So it's a little toasty, and here
now we're getting somewhere.
And here's the thing that I've been talking about for years, where people shit on MGP.
MGP's great.
Right. Well, people crap on NDPs that source from there, and like, oh, and I saw comments when they were posting about the 13th Colony cash strength. They're like, ooh, $80 for cash strength MGP, boo hoo. So, and my attitude is fuck off, dude. The best part of MGP, right, is just the fact that it's MGP. And if you want to taste MGP that's aged 100% in Indiana, right, you can taste young MGP. You can taste old MGP. It just depends, where it's, if it's coming from MGP, like an Arena's product, or if they're sourcing their stuff out. And a company, and I hate to crap on them, but their companies, the name starts with an N and ends in a U, where the bottles that I bought, it just tasted like they just literally shipped it in, blended it, dumped it, and
it's new.
No, don't crap on them, because I will, but I won't say that. But it's literally like they got it in, they blended a couple barrels together, dumped it in their bottle, put their sticker on it, and charged $100 for. Which
is the issue with any non-distilling producer, is that it enables you to phone it in.
If they're doing it wrong. So, but here's my point: is the cool thing with MGP is that they're such a big producer that it's really cool to see what their whiskey does in different parts of the country. Yeah. So like we talked about with Smoke Wagon, you got MGP going out to Vegas. You've got MGP coming into Texas. You've got MGP going into all these different states.
And in this case,
Georgia. And how it ages with the heat and humidity and the water that they either add or don't add, that's what makes MGP really cool to me. Is you take something that's made like right in the middle of the country for the most part, it's aged there, but the extra aging in different parts of the country to me is what's super interesting. So we've had a bunch of cask strength. This isn't the craziest proof, right?
It's pretty tame, all things considered.
But when you smell this, because full disclosure, I got into this
It's very
a week or so ago.
odd as it might be to say, it does smell humid.
Yeah, it's got that MGP, a little bit of those MGP notes, but they're a lot darker.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a lot more barrel influence. There's no age statement, but it smells a little bit older, and that could be just from the interaction with that barrel and the humidity.
Do you think the heat or the humidity had more of an effect?
So from
I would wager the humidity.
what I've learned recently over the last 2 years, humidity plays a huge role.
Makes sense.
So when we were up at Ironwood, because I was asking those guys how they manage their rick house, are you worried about heat, humidity? It's like, oh, it's all humidity for us. So like they'll actually add like water to their floor if it's too dry, just to get some extra humidity.
Right.
So it makes sense that there's companies that are coming out of Georgia, that are coming out of Louisiana, right? That are coming out of Alabama, where it's hot, but the humidity is so high that they're making some really interesting stuff. And so I think the humidity plays a huge role, but
let's try it. It's launch it.
Yeah, cheers. But man, this smells good.
For a distillery that I wrote off for many years, that's really good.
Yeah, the cask strength is a game changer. So this tastes to me like a 36% rye.
Yeah.
So from MGP, they typically make like a 36% rye, and then they make like a 20-something% rye. Very spicy. Obviously very proofy. You do get a lot of barrel char, but you get almost like a strawberry toffee note. There's like almost like a creamy custard.
You don't really eat them, but it reminds me of a tart.
Yeah. It's very bright, so it's probably not super old, right? So that brightness tends to be a little bit of youth.
On the retro, I get some pine.
Really? Okay, I'm getting a lot of toffee.
I usually get that with rye though.
Yeah, man, go back. I'm getting a ton of toffee on it.
I didn't see that.
Dark.
It's very sweet, very sweet.
Almost like the burnt creme brulee. Where that sugar's burnt, like a burnt sugar.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but with a nice spicy rye note to it. That's really,
it's very good.
To be fair, it was $80. So it's
maybe a little much. 70 would be a little more appropriate.
Because for the first time seeing it in Texas, though,
yeah, because pound for pound, I prefer, as far as like uncut MGP goes, I prefer Smoke Wagon every day. However, this is quite good.
Yeah, but it's so much different.
Oh, it's very different
Than Smoke Wagons. That's what makes it real fun. It's definitely a spicy gal.
She'll bite your tongue off.
Just if I didn't know what the proof was, I'd say it was north of 130 proof.
No, I won't go that far.
It's spicy. It's spicy, like dark fruits. Still that toffee, that burnt sugar, like on a creme brulee. But super interesting. So for all the people that say, oh, it's just cask strength MGP.
And all of their controversy, which they invited upon themselves.
Well, so the controversy they invited upon themselves, that's on them.
Yeah.
They should have learned their damn lesson. But for all
seems like they did.
But for all the haters out there that are like, oh, it's just cask strength MGP, I just say fuck off.
That's the point. It's cask strength MGP.
Correct. Go make your freaking own. Right? If you're gonna dump on
let's go down to your distillery.
Yeah, if you're gonna dump on this, go make your own. And then put it in a bottle and let everybody else pick it apart.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. I would love to get some of their other offerings. The cask strength double oak that we talked about, that they got a little bit of, caught a little bit of heat for.
I imagine they've refined the offerings.
I don't know. They may have, they may not. The problem is the bottle's still $200 of retail. If you can even find it.
That's a little expensive.
If you can even find it. That's the problem.
When I can spend $70 for Woodford double oak, come on now.
Yeah, evidently it's not even close. Now, for a lot of people, it was like whiskey of the year, like multiple years. Like it's that good. I'd love to try it. No, I'll never see it because they don't hit the shelves. $200, I buy it once just to buy it. But anyway, point being,
this is really good.
and if you go on the whiskey tubes and stuff, there are a bunch of people, a bunch of channels that have had the opportunity. I'm thinking about the Bourbon Junkies recently. I watched something from them where they got to go out and see those guys again and pick a couple barrels, and they got to see some really cool stuff, how their whiskey ages type thing. For as humid as it is down there, they're getting a different effect on how the whiskey interacts with the barrels. So I've definitely changed my mind, because for the last couple of years with just the 2 standard offerings, I was like, yeah, it's okay.
Throw them off.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's fine.
I buy it once and I'm good. With the Scat Strength, I'm glad we paid the $80 for it. I wouldn't pay more. It'll be nice, hopefully in the next year or two, if the price does come down a little bit.
$70.
Yeah, I think a $70 bottle would be a little more in lines for me, because then I might actually buy it
And I prefer
more than once.
And of course, I prefer an age statement on it if they could manage as much.
If they could. The problem with that is that to get it the way they want to taste it, like Aaron does with Smoke Wagon, he'll start off with 4-year barrels, even though he might have 6, 8, 10-year barrels blended in there. You can't put that unless you do like what Bardstown does, where they break down like how much of what.
Mad respect to Bardstown.
To be fair, they're not talking about specific barrels.
Of course.
They're just talking about how much of their distillate, how much Kentucky, how much Tennessee, how much whatever they're putting in it, which at least for me is super cool. But I was really happy that we got it.
I'm very impressed. I haven't tried it up until this point, but
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
I only tried it the one time, but I was like, it does drink hot. So first and foremost, if your proofometer is not where it needs to be,
Sort of drop of water or two.
maybe throw a couple 3 drops maybe, because it is spicy, which leads me to believe it's a 36%, at least a majority of the blends at 36%.